And welcome to Monday edition, episode 7 of Going for 2 Platform 2-Point Conversion. I am your hostess, Gladys L. Tyler on Twitter, and I am joined by two remarkably good men. G-Man J, who's probably like the nicest person I've ever met on Twitter.
Well, thank you.
It's true. You know it's true. And Bo Big Time, who actually is one of the more informative people I've ever met on Twitter, and I haven't met him, but I started following you last season for your DFS advice, which was really good advice. I'm just really bad at DFS, but it was really good advice.
Me too, Glass. Don't worry about it. So much.
And I actually bought some of your hot batch sauce, which is really weird because I really don't like spicy things, but it's delicious. I had it on my pizza today and yesterday.
Oh, it's so good on pizza. Absolutely.
Oh my God, isn't it? It's so good on pizza. It's so good. I loved it. Okay, so we will get with the bet and the questions for these gentlemen. But first, I have two short PSA announcements to make. And before I do that, we're going to talk about your balls, gentlemen, because manscaped.com is concerned about your balls. And all of this.
Oh, the look on your face. She just said that. You're like, excuse me?
And I understand. Manscaped.com is about men's grooming and hygiene. But today, I'm specifically going to talk about the crop cleanser, whose tagline is romancing your balls. And it's a moisturizing, like a body wash. And let's think about this. So you're going to be romancing your balls with the crop cleanser, and in hopes that there's liberal visitation in that area. So it's not only for you, but for your partner too. So it's like a 2-for, and it's a good practice to have if you want visitation in that area. So manscaped.com is going to help you get that. But the most important thing I think about manscaped.com is that it teams with the Testicular Cancer Society. And apparently that is the #1 cancer in men, boys, 14 to 35. And so for those of us who don't have balls, we know someone who does, and we want them protected. So you can go on to manscaped.com, do things that help you romance your balls and romance your stones while you're saving the balls. And if you use the promo code 2points, you also get free shipping and 20% off. So it's a win-win. I don't know how you're going to lose on that.
Can't pass that up.
You can't. How do you pass that up? You can't pass that up. So that is manscaped.com, 2 points, 20% off. Romance those balls. Have other people romance those balls for you. It's a win-win. You can't lose. You just can't lose.
That is by far the best promo I've heard with the Manscaped stuff, Gladys.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic.
And thank you. And then for the first PSA announcement, today's April 19th. I live in Denver, Colorado. Happy 420. I won't see you guys tomorrow. So for those of you who so do, happy 420 tomorrow. But,
so you got a real big smile as soon as you
I know, I did. But another reason to celebrate 420 is that it is Leo Hamilton's 6th birthday. And Leo Hamilton, for those of you who don't know, is the son of Nate Hamilton, who is Dominate FF on fantasy football. Leo will be 6 tomorrow on 420, and I want to wish him happy birthday. And
happy birthday,
also
Leo.
want you to know that this season coming up, Leo will be doing NFL picks, and I am not ashamed to take picks from a 6-year-old. So hashtag Leo.picks. Happy birthday, Leo, and I am looking forward to taking picks from you this NFL season. And then... Happy birthday, yay, 420. And then on the second PSA announcement, so stick with me here. I am a huge fan of Hamilton. And in one part of Hamilton, John Lawrence has a duel with Charles Lee, because Charles Lee was, he sucked in the war, but he blamed it on George Washington, and so he talked shit about George Washington. But Washington said something to the effect of, I am not some damsel in distress. You don't need to protect me. So I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen, but I don't care. Do you guys, Jeff Lambert, Jeff with a G, is the man brain behind the Going4 2 platform, like everything, like the podcasts that you see every night, the content across the sports, the charity work, and his attempt to try to get like fantasy analysts that had less than 1,000 more visibility on his armchair show. He does all that and he makes it look easy. And you don't have to like him because let's face it, there's a gazillion people in the world. You're not going to like everyone, but you got to put respect behind his name because he does a lot of work. And if you don't respect the work that he does, that says more about you than it does about him. And the fact that he is allowing inclusion of people that are non-traditionally in the fantasy realm, like me and others, I just wanted to personally thank him for doing that. And I want to personally say that those, what did you call them, Jay? Asshats? Those asshats who make it personal and say stupid shit, that says a lot more about you than it does about Jeff. And I just want to say, Mr. Lambert, Jeff with a Jeff with a G, I am personally thankful for you, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, I would like to second that as well, because if it wasn't for Jeff, I wouldn't be doing anything that I'm doing, and he's been phenomenal. Everything you said is 100% true. Jeff is definitely one of the most selfless people I've ever met in the industry. He's a great guy.
I joined a retweet group with Jeff last year when I had well under 1,000 followers, and because of him, I got a lot of exposure that I know that most of the people around Twitter, they don't care enough. Like, Jeff cares about the whole industry, and that he cares about the community aspect of the industry. So shout out to Jeff. I love the guy. And so if you come after Jeff, I'm going to come after you. So it's even.
It's even. So those are my 2 PSA announcements for tonight. And I probably won't make any more for, quite some time. Oh, hello. Hello. I like those moves. And now we're going to get started. And because you guys are so prolific on Twitter, Jay, tell people one thing that they don't know about you. And what would be your walk-up music if you're going to the plate?
Ooh, that's a good one. One thing that somebody might not know about me. So I am very lucky with some of the games that I've been to. I was at Super Bowl 42 where the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots.
Damn.
And I went to, that's where I got the seat that I just put up recently. And I went to game 6 of the 2009 World Series where the Yankees won the first World Series in their new stadium.
Wow.
And got to see the Carolina Hurricanes in the Stanley Cup Finals as well. So got to see 3 of my 4 professional teams in the championship. I'm unfortunately a Knicks fan, so I'm never going to see the Knicks in the NBA Finals. Like maybe my son, possibly, probably not, or my daughter, either one of them. But I also don't even know if I'm going to put them through being Knicks fans. But other than that, so I'm very lucky. I've got to see some pretty amazing games.
Those are amazing. And your walk-up music?
Walk-up music. It would have to be "I Am Number One" by Nelly.
Nice.
That would be it. I'm a '90s kid, 2000s. I'm going way back. Nelly was my guy, so number one would be it.
Bro, one thing people don't know about you and your walk-up music.
Unless you stalk me on Twitter, you probably don't know that I'm I used to be like a super over aggressive karaoke advocate. Like I'd go every night of the week and sing karaoke. I'd compete in karaoke contests all the time.
Why you got to come to Canton? Because me and Herms found a karaoke bar.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Gladys, are you gonna make it out to Canton?
No, I'm not gonna make it. It's $400 each way to fly from California to Ohio right now. And so we're going to try to set up a West Coast type of event for the people who aren't going to be flying in August. So that'll be something.
Yeah, that's understandable.
My walk-up music it's going to be something that gets me jacked up. So Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
Wow, we have way 2 different ends of the spectrum on that walk-up music. That would be great to have you guys go run after another. Thank you for that. And let's get started. But first, the next show. Yeah, the next show I do will be the guy that is doing the Fantasy Expo. So, Bo, why don't you come on and ask him about having one in Cali or closer to you? So
there you go. Bob Long, right?
Yeah, I'm all in for it. because, Denver's a little bit closer to California than it is to Ohio.
Yeah, but Bo, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't be going either. It's $220 for a flight round trip, so that's a little different than $800.
I could do that. I would have done that a month ago when they started forming it.
All right. So for the 2-point conversion, first question: the draft is in 10 days. What is your favorite draft moment? Jay.
I'm going to go way back. You call me whatever you want, Gladys. I love you. You can call me anything you want. So I'm going to go way back to 2004 when the whole Eli Manning getting drafted by the Chargers. Well, you're not going to boo when you hear why. It's more than just that. So that was, 2004. I was a junior in high school. I graduated 2005. And so I was really, that's when I was really getting into the draft and stuff like that. And I probably started playing fantasy the early 2000s. So just a few years into fantasy. And it was just, I was so enamored with are the Chargers going to take Eli? Oh, they took Eli. What's going to happen with the Giants? And they took, Giants drafted Phillip Rivers, who's from NC State. But I vividly remember my brother was in Iraq at the time. And it was a lot different world in 2004 with the internet and being able to talk to people. I was lucky if I got to talk to him on the phone maybe once a month, maybe once every other month. And he just so happened to call me literally 5 minutes after Eli Manning got traded to the Giants. So I can see it right now. I was at my parents' house, obviously, sitting on the phone, talking with my brother. And it was just I'm just even getting teary-eyed a little bit. I'm getting goosebumps. I can see it now. It's something I will never forget, having that moment with him where it'd been like a month and a half since I talked to him over in Iraq, and he's my best friend. Me and him are super, super close. So to be able to share that moment with him when he was so far away defending our freedom, I'll never forget that.
That is awesome. I like that. Yeah.
So I hope you feel bad about booing, Bo. No, I'm just playing.
You know who I was booing.
I know you were booing Eli.
I love the troops. I'm probably one of the only people in my family that didn't serve, so it was it's always a good thing to hear when my people have that kind of connection to their siblings, especially. That's a really good draft story. I don't think I could top that. Mine is I'm a Cowboys fan, so you can go ahead and boo me, Jay.
Yeah, I'll save that for later.
But my favorite draft moment was when I was absolutely on fire with hating the Cowboys draft pick of trading up to get Travis Frederick, the center from Wisconsin. And my favorite draft moment was the next year after I had figured out that not only was it one of the best picks they ever made in the entire franchise history, but that he became one of my favorite players to root for on the team. That was just, I literally burned up Facebook. What are they thinking drafting Travis Frederick when they need all these other positions? And then I watched half of him starting as a rookie at center, and he just dominated. And I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah. I did the same thing with the Knicks when the Knicks drafted Porzingis. I was like, what are we doing? And that was one of the best picks they've made the past 15, 20 years, probably ever, but other than Patrick.
Yeah. For me, it was getting proven wrong by the team on a pick that usually they screw up the draft, but that time.
So, real quick, I'm really sorry about the chats, guys, because I didn't have the chats on. I was in setup. My bad. But thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Gary, for your comments.
Already.
And I know, right? And thank you, Garrison. Garrison wants Bo and Scott and their DSS show. So that's your open invite there, Bo.
That's gonna cost him.
He lives in Utah. He's got nothing but money. What else are you gonna do in Utah? Seriously, except drink.
Not drink.
What?
Not
he
drink.
Drinks.
Yeah.
Have you not seen him?
Oh, he drinks. Yeah.
Oh, he drinks.
Now Friday, Sunday, every time he's on camera, he's got some sort of drink or a stack of drinks behind him.
Yeah, I think Garrison is drinking for the people in Utah that don't drink. He's helping out the economy.
Balances out.
Economy. Sorry, Garrison, if you're still listening. All right. So, what's your favorite thing about the draft? Is it Like my favorite thing, which I don't think they're doing this year, was what they did last year, going into the coaches' homes, except for the Arizona coach who like was trying way too hard. But all the other homes,
Bill Belichick with his dog sitting there at the computer.
Oh
that was the best thing ever. I wish they would do that every year.
That would be great if the dogs made the picks. But Bo, what's your favorite thing about the draft?
I think it's just like seeing, or like, I like the way that they broadcast the draft is so nice, because they have the combination of the analysis and breaking it down, but then they'll cut away to a story about somebody who most people haven't heard of, and they'll like literally just do a whole biography video about that player, and then you like get to know the player, you get to see the like how they tick, and I love it. And it's just a combination of all the analysis plus the storylines. And then it's always fun to watch a player that you really don't like slip in the draft.
As opposed to someone you do like raise in the draft. You know what your mindset is.
Bo's a little vindictive, as we can tell.
No, not at all. And Jay, what's your favorite thing about the draft?
So similar to what Bo was talking about, I like the stories where, it's cool to see the guys go out, the ones that are in the green room and are expected to go, but the guys in the middle rounds who don't know if they're, where they're going to be drafted or if they're going to be, that they have the cameras at home, and then you see them get the phone call and just hug their family in that moment. Like, their whole lives have been building up to that. I'm sure parents have sacrificed so much for their kids to be in that position, and just to see that raw emotion, that's what it's all about. Like, that's what's just, it's what makes it, is what connects us as humans, to see other people, in that type of situation. And not only that,
rounds again. Sorry, they have a video that's been making its rounds again.
The DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf getting the call from Schneider and Carroll, and
that was awesome.
I was like, oh my god, guys, stop! I can't handle it. Like, DK is so likable, so energetic, and
you just tell how genuine of a person he is, and like you said, passionate, like how much he cares.
Let everything go, and you're like, dude, that guy worked his ass off to get right here, right this moment is what he worked for.
And it also too, it kind of officially, it's the league year starts with free agency, but I feel like that's like, okay, we're going into the next season. We got the rookies. It's time to roll. So it's kind of a, unofficial start for the next season.
I completely agree. Like, I love to see like the DK Metcalf moments. James Conner, when Pittsburgh originally drafted him, that was really awesome. Those to me are the best draft moments. So, Bo, your first 5 picks of the draft, who are they going to be? What do you got going? Who do you got going?
I still am not convinced that Jacksonville's not going to go up and take Justin Fields because of that Ohio State connection. I think everything we've been hearing in this time of year is always a smokescreen. And there's no such thing as a sure thing in the draft, except for when Joe Thomas got drafted by the Browns. They said like 3 months in advance, we're drafting Joe Thomas. Nobody's saying that anymore, because it gives away all your leverage. If there's a team that's going to trade back, they don't want to lose the leverage that they've gained by positioning themselves that way. So nobody ever says in advance who they're actually picking, and they try not to let anything leak. Look at the 49ers speculation. It's going to change every day until we actually do the thing. So I think it's going to be Justin Fields number 1. And then it's going to be Lawrence number 2 to the Jets, which might ruin him. But number 3 is going to put the 49ers in a pretty unique position where they can take another BYU quarterback. And the fan base, I live in Northern California. I'm not a Niners fan, obviously, but the fan base is very receptive to a guy like Zach Wilson. And I think if it transpires like that, number 4 is going to be a trade back for the Falcons, because they really need assets on defense. And so I think that they're going to trade back with like probably, if I was to guess, the Patriots, to get like Trey Lance or something like that. But that would be my guess. And then 5's got to be Penei Sewell.
That would be so awesome if they. I mean, I would rather see just Fields go to San Francisco. I think that would be the best place for him. But if they throw that wrench in, that would be like the best draft day ever. It would be the best. Who are your 5, Jay?
Like Twitter would explode.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there is 0.0 chance that happens. Trevor Lawrence is 100% guaranteed. I would put my house and my children on the line.
And your
Trevor
children?
Lawrence is going in, and my children. But I think there's no way that I think Trevor Lawrence is going to go number one. I think that Wilson is going to go two. I just think I agree, Bo. I think there has been a lot of smoke screens, but I think the smoke screens coming from San Francisco. I don't think there's any chance they go Mac Jones. If they gave up that for Mac Jones, then they just need a clean house. I think Justin Fields is going to go to San Francisco. I think he's the second best quarterback in this class, and I think the whole you get people going Trevor Lawrence and Fields. If you say one's going to be better than the other, then it's like LeBron and Jordan. If you say you like one, you automatically hate the other. That's far from the truth. I think Trevor Lawrence is the best, but I think that Fields is right behind him. He's going to be the next Konami Code quarterback. I really think so. And if he winds up in San Francisco, my goodness, you put him in Kyle Shanahan's offense, he's going to be a stud. With that being said, what was that about?
They might actually win if they pick.
Yeah. And then I have a feeling that Atlanta's going to shock the world, and he has been mocked there, but I think they're going to go with Kyle Pitts. I think the contract that they have with Matt Ryan, they're not going to get out from under him the next 2 years. They know it's time to go all in if they want to win a championship. Yeah, Kyle, anytime we bring up the whole LeBron versus Michael Jordan, Kyle likes to bring up Wilt Chamberlain, which Wilt is an all-time great, but Jordan's the GOAT for me, but that's another story for another show. But I do think – well, hey, those guys, you really, it's half dozen, six in one hand, half dozen in the other. You could do that all night. But I think Pitts is going to go to Atlanta, and then I don't think it's the right decision, but I think Cincinnati's going to give Joe Burrow what he wants and take Chase at number 5. I think they should go Sewell. I hope they go Sewell for Joe Mixon's sake and Joe Burrow's longevity of his career's sake, but I just have a feeling that the Bengals are the type of franchise that will listen, try to keep Burrow happy versus making the right decision and going with Sewell.
Yeah, and that's I've kind of on that same playing field there where they still do have Jonah Williams on that roster, and even though he's been hurt the first 2 years of his career, he's a stud. He went to high school here down the street from me, and so it's like I watched him from high school through Alabama. The kid is an absolute anchor at left tackle. And so if they believe that he's healthy enough to give it a go, that you might be right, because Chase is a game-changing talent at wide receiver. Penei Sewell is another one of those just absolute monsters at left tackle. But if they feel like Jonah Williams can handle it, then they'll go with Chase.
Didn't they pick up a tight end, one of his tight ends?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Thaddeus Moss.
Yeah, so you don't think that placated? You don't think that made him Burrow's a little happy? What is the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Soothed them over a little bit so they can go Sewell? No? You think he still wants Chase?
I don't think Thaddeus Moss will make that team.
Oh, really?
No, he didn't make Washington last year. Why would he make it?
Because Burrow's there.
Joe Burrow? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, why not?
I think
I'm here just.
I think that's an impact player. He wants, could you imagine wide receiver core of Higgins? Boyd's a free agent after this year, I think.
Who's a free agent after this year? I'm sorry.
Boyd. I think Boyd is.
Oh, yeah.
If he's not a free agent, he's got they can cut him pretty easily. So
yeah.
Thank you, Kyle. Appeased. I think no, it's not the word I was thinking of begins with a P, but appeased means the same thing. We could go.
You had it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take that. I will take that. All right. So I'm going to ask you both since. Thank you, Gary. Yes, that is what I was trying to say. In my very Eric.
My barbecue.
Eric could say it with that Southern twang, so it would sound a lot different than what I said. It would probably sound a lot better than what I said. Thanks, Eric. So I'm going to ask you both because apparently this is your wheelhouse. Who do you see falling out of the first round of the draft?
Mac Jones.
Really? Out of the first round, the complete first round, you don't think any of the first 32 teams will take Mac Jones?
No, I think it's a low possibility, but of all the players that are locked into a first round grade, he's the lowest on my list as far as ability. The problem is there's that big 5 quarterbacks. Usually there's 3 or 4, maybe even 2. He's the 5th on that list as far as what I'm seeing. So if he doesn't go at 3, you're going to see a lot of movement to go get quarterbacks, which is why it's not really likely. But I just did a mock where he went at 32 to Tampa Bay. So there's a lot of deep positions that you can hit first round talent with. And a lot of these teams that have picks in the first round have a lot of dire needs, and quarterback it's up there, but I don't know if it's going to happen for Mac Jones if he slips past 3.
What do you have, Jay?
I could see a chance that Najee Harris falls out of the first round. There's really 2 teams that I could see potentially taking a running back in the first round. Be Miami at 18 and then the Steelers at 23. If both of those teams, the Miami's got Myles Gaskin, who was solid last year. He wasn't a game changer. So, with the needs they still have, if let's say they go receiver with their first pick and then try to shore up the line with their second pick. And there's so much running back depth in this draft. The past couple of years, we've seen guys go in the second and third round, outproduce the guys that have gone in the first round. So if the Dolphins and the Steelers both pass on going running back the first round, I could see a scenario where Harris falls to the second.
Do you guys see anyone sneaking into the first round?
There's lots of guys.
You want to go?
Yeah.
So on the flip side, if the Dolphins do go Harris at 18, I could see, and if the Steelers are dead set on going running back, I could see Harris going to the Dolphins and then ETN going to the Steelers at 23. So I would love to see either one of those guys in the Steelers offense. That's it's 2 sides of the same coin. It all depends on those 2 teams with running backs and how this draft is going to start for the running back position.
I was going to say the same thing, except for Javonte Williams going to Pittsburgh. I think he's a better fit in their offense.
Yeah, I could see either one.
Yeah, more hard-nosed of a runner than ETN. Maybe not as explosive, but I love Javonte's skill set, especially as he's the type of runner that's physical. He runs with great pad level and angle, and he fits that offense where they're looking to change that culture. Their running game was more soft than anything last year, where they couldn't stick to it because the offensive line wasn't moving anybody. And then James Conner would just run into the back of his lineman, or you got another running back coming in and just falling down. They just didn't have any physicality. So, maybe going after a power back that actually has some thump like Javonte or Najee, that's kind of what I see happening. Is Javonte is either 2 or 3 on most people's lists for running back skill, and that's a great pick at 24 for the Steelers, I think. And I think if he goes past that, he might go mid-second to early 3rd.
Okay, I'm going to say, because I'm a Steeler fan, I'm not sure if you knew that, but I like that a lot.
If you had your pick out of the 3, who would you want?
Javonte. Yeah, the other 2 are, with Big Ben and his declining arm strength and his inability to make passes count, the strong run game is the only thing that we're going to have going for us this year. I can seriously see the Steelers ending up 3rd in that division if they don't get a good running back. And if they get one of the speedsters instead of one of the bruisers, I think we're going to be in the same position that we were in last year, which is really, really sad when you get clobbered by Cleveland in the first. Oh my God, that playoff game sucks so bad. Wait, what did you just put 2 fingers? Do you want me to cry? Do you want me to cry on the podcast, guys? Is that what you're going for? Do you want tears?
I don't hate the Steelers, but I did predict them. I did declare them at 11-0, the softest undefeated team in the history of the league.
Okay.
And Bo was never invited back on the show again.
I seriously remember tweeting that out when they were 11-0, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna get some backlash here.
Well, I mean, whatever. It's true. All right. Inside, I'm crying. You just can't see it. I'm going to hold it in. And we're going to talk about food now because food makes me not cry at all. I love it. All right. So first of all, tell us a little about the hot sauce that I'm partaking of liberally.
There you go.
This hot box gourmet small batch hot sauce. I dropped small batch because I'm planning on co-bottling with a company that's going to make it in a 500-gallon batch, so I don't have to make it in my kitchen anymore.
That's a good thing.
That'll make the price go down, which is a good thing for everybody. But it's just something I created in January of 2020. It was before COVID was really in full flux. And then it got really popular when everything got shut down. I live in California. Everything's still mostly shut down, even though we see a light at the end of the tunnel. It just feels like we're still restricted quite a bit. But when all that got shut down, I was home a lot. And then there was not nowhere to go. I was either work or I was home doing so. I was on Twitter, I was on Insta, like, hey, who wants to try my hot sauce? And then
I'd like to say I have an OG bottle before you had a label, before there was that fancy colored top. I got in there, and it is fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I sent some free like mason jars to some of my friends, and they're like, how much do you want for it? I was like, I don't want to pay me for it.
Well, I didn't get it for free. I had to pay for it.
Yeah, I paid for mine too. What the?
Yeah. Guess we're not friends, Gladys. I guess we're not friends.
Origin story. It's like they were just sending me I told them not to pay me, and they sent me Venmos for like $20 for a bottle of hot sauce. I was like, all right, this is just out of control. And then I started taking orders via Twitter DMs, and then I eventually over the summer started a website, and so I could sell it and keep track of it a lot easier.
And let me just say that this was one of the most securely packed bottles I've ever gotten. It's like tightly packed. It's great. The packaging is great too.
I don't trust the Postal Service. That's why.
It's really, really good.
They've broken a lot of bottles.
Oh, really? Yeah, there's no way the one that came to me was going to break. It was like quadruple, like wrapped up and like burrito wrapped. It was great. What is your most interesting food combo?
So, with Hotbox or just in general?
Yes.
The most interesting combo I've seen somebody with Hotbox was a chocolate crepe, and I tried it and it was amazing. So I was like, okay, I would
know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I didn't either, but I had to try it because he was like, hey, what's the deal with this? And I was like, you're putting that on a chocolate crepe of all things. And he goes, yeah, it's great. And I was like, okay, dude, you're weird. But he's like, here, have a bite. And I was like, not freaking bad. That's okay. I mean, I'll take that as a testament to the versatility of the product. So,
I think that's how we should take that. So what's your most interesting food combo not with Hotbox? Or, I mean, you're going to put Hotbox on later, but just your most interesting food combo.
People do the French fries into the Frosty. I love that. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, hot
like Wendy's frosting. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's why people like do it with McDonald's. They do Burger King. It's if you have a milkshake or a Frosty with hot salty French fries. That's damn good.
The sweet and savory, the salty is just fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
I'm gonna say I'm mildly surprised by that, but that's your favorite. But Jay, what's your favorite food combo?
So going with the whole sweet and salty combination, the North Carolina State Fair always has a bunch of crazy foods. They've got deep fried everything. You know, they've got a Reese cup wrapped in bacon, deep fried. They've got Krispy Kreme donuts, burgers where it's 2 Krispy Kreme donuts with the bacon cheeseburger. Yes. But my favorite, it's simple, yet it's so delicious. It is a piece of bacon about that thick, dipped in chocolate and sprinkled with rock salt. And it is just phenomenal. The first thing I do as soon as I go to the state fair, well, not anymore that I have kids. Now we go to the kiddie rides and then I go there. But before kids, that was the first place I went. But yeah, the deep fry, it's chocolate dipped bacon sprinkled with rock salt on the outside.
Jesus, I think I'm appalled by that.
Tell you, don't knock it till you try it. Yeah. Get the heart attack going.
Okay. I'm.
You beat the state fair here in North Carolina. It's everything deep fried Twinkies, deep fried Oreos. I mean, deep fried everything. Like if it'll fit, if it'll stay on a stick, they'll deep fry it.
I'm honestly, I don't even know what to do with that. Bo, favorite food, breakfast food, lunch food, dinner food. I don't care. Favorite food. Something you would eat 24 hours a day, 3 times a day, if you could.
I'd be lying if I didn't say tacos. They're so versatile. I live in California. We have the best tacos in the world, the most variety of tacos in the world. I can make them. I can find them. I can go to any street corner and find amazing tacos. I could eat them every meal, in between meals. I could wake up and from a dead sleep. I could be in a coma, and somebody would slap me in the face, hand me a taco. I'd be super happy. There's no food that I love more than tacos. That's just standard.
The visual of you being slapped in the face with the taco is kind of interesting. I'm assuming Eric is America. I
He's
guess
probably referencing all the deep fried goodness at the North Carolina State Fair, if I had to guess. So.
That is right. He is from the South too. Yeah. Okay. Is that a Southern thing? Deep frying food like that?
Yeah, probably. Especially it's the State Fair. It's where they generally do it. Like people here deep fry turkeys for Thanksgiving, which is phenomenal.
That's okay.
I'm telling you, it's juicy. The skin is crispy.
Yeah, I was raised by my grandpa, who's from Arkansas, and that was the first thing I learned how to cook is frying stuff. Like you learn how to dredge, batter things, and then dump them in hot oil, and then either sprinkle cheese or salt or.
See, I've been doing keto too, so I haven't had anything fried in like 2 months. So I'm dying right now talking about this stuff. Yeah.
Jay, what's your favorite food? 24
So I'm
hours.
gonna go. It's pretty generic, but I'm a big steak guy. I mean, you could have steak and eggs in the morning. You can have a steak sandwich. I love nothing more than. I mean, I could have steak at every meal. Hot, leftover, cold. It's just. And if you have a good steak, all you need is a little bit of seasoning, no marinade, no nothing. That's all you need. Get it seared on each side. I like it more towards the medium rare side. Nice crust on the outside with a good seasoning. All day, every day.
This guy gets it.
All right, I'm gonna need Kyle, Eric, and Dan and Gary to tell me their favorite foods. And if it's like something besides dead flesh, I'd be interested because so far we've got like a lot of dead animals like floating around in this food. Favorite things.
You could get some dead animal tacos, and I'd be all over them.
Dead animals at that. And while we're waiting, we're going to talk about fantasy football for just a second and zero running back strategy. What is your opinion on that, Bo?
Don't do it. Can't do it. Can't win with them. Not going to do it.
Jay, are you the same?
I am 100% the same. I don't like. I think it's worked for a few people, and in certain situations, it can. It's all about reading what the draft is doing. If you're able to get insane wide receiver value, yeah, then you pass up running backs. But me, I'm the type of person, I like to try to get at least one bell cow. So I like running back early and often, and generally there's so much value in the mid rounds with wide receiver. So it looks like Bo and I are on the same page again.
Yeah, I draft based on scarcity of talent at a position. There's about 50 wide receivers that could be wide receiver ones each year. And last year was even more than that. Running backs, you're dealing with less than half of that number. Tight ends, you're dealing with 3 to 5 guys.
And that's being generous.
Right. I'm getting stud running backs and stud tight ends. And then I know there's going to be like the 3 or 4 starting wide receivers that I have are going to have a very good percentage chance of being in the top 12 at their position. If you can mock a 5th or 6th round pick for Terry McLaurin every year or somebody like that, I'm taking that every day of the week and I'm getting my studs. And injuries happen to every player in the NFL, not just running backs. Wide receivers get hurt, tight ends get hurt, quarterbacks get hurt. You have to.
Wide receivers a lot more inconsistent.
Yeah, you have to play the cards you're dealt, like he said. If people are falling to you, yeah, you take them. You basically want to trust your own system, and when the people you like fall to you, you jump on them, and that's pretty much how I draft. And mostly it's running backs early, and then I'll throw in a big like 4 or 5 round streak where I take all the wide receivers that are in that tier, and it seems to work.
All you need is one of those guys to hit. You're golden.
Mm-hmm.
So Jay, that's your strategy too when you draft, is running backs early?
Yep, I go running back early and often. Unlike Bo, I'm not one to spend a premium on tight end. It's not. I know there is scarcity, but I would rather take another shot at a running back around there, and then I'll try to take 2 or 3 of the guys with some upside. Like it worked out 2 years ago for me. I got Kittle late in a bunch of drafts. It's if what it's going to cost to get Kelsey and Kittle now is just it's such high draft capital, and if you did that with Kittle this year, or Mark Andrews was going early this year, it really hurt you bad. So very similar to what Bo said, running back early and often, wide receivers in the middle rounds, and then I wait on tight end. And if it's one quarterback, I wait until almost the very end. I like super flex better, so I played mostly super flex. If that's the case, I try to get my quarterbacks early too.
You try to get your quarterback when? I'm sorry.
If it's a super flex league, basically my perfect first 4 rounds, I would have 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna have to write down because clearly my strategy.
Mobile quarterbacks, 2 mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah. Would you draft if Justin Fields goes to San Fran? Would you draft him in a redraft league this year? Would you feel comfortable as your number 1 quarterback?
Yep, absolutely. Especially in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Jimmy,
he would be the perfect target because he's not going to cost, especially in a 1 quarterback league, he's not going to cost the draft capital that some of these other guys would. And, just his rushing floor alone, you'll be more than fine with a 1 quarterback league. And I think he's the perfect QB2, QB3 in a super flex league. You want a guy with upside like that.
Huge upside. You
agree, Bo? You said?
Oh, yeah. Like you said, a QB2 and a super flex and a late, like 10th or 11th round pick in a 1 quarterback league all day long. And I got lucky. Last year I drafted Kittle as my tight end run in end of round 2, but I got lucky because my tight end 2 that I ended up plugging in when Kittle got hurt was Logan Thomas. So
well, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, it does have its advantages to have a tiered system. Justin Fields having the Konami code to me is where you get the equivalent of an extra 4-point touchdown just from the rushing floor, and he's going to hit that every week if he's a starter.
I drafted Kittle and my backup was Kyle Rudolph. So yeah, it didn't really work out that well for me.
It happens.
Yeah, that's not going to happen again. All right, I want to talk about the bet. The bet. I want you guys to tell me what it is, how we can get involved. I want to know everything, the ins, the outs, the ups and downs. Go.
So you want to start off? Or you want me to?
Yeah. So I hate both of these quarterbacks, but we decided we are in our little thick as thieves group chat, and
we got a big group chat of like close to 50 of us that we BS back and forth and
very little football talk.
Yeah.
Very little football talk, but one day it was the day the trade went down, Darnold to Carolina, and I don't like Darnold that much. He's a USC guy. I'm a huge Oregon fan. Darnold's a turd. His numbers bear it out. But I also don't like Carson Wentz because he's played for the Eagles and he's a pouty little whiny turd himself, getting benched justifiably for poor performance and then just sitting there with his arms crossed and not wearing his headset on the sidelines and then getting shipped off to Indy. And I'm not as huge on the move to Indy as other people. So when I'm left with the decision between, okay, if I'm left trying to pick one of these guys for redraft in 2021, who would I rather have? And I'm thinking I'd rather have Sam Darnold because he's going to a system with a lot of weapons. He's going to a system with good wide receivers, an amazing running back, and probably one of the best offensive minds coaching him at offensive coordinator in Joe Brady. And so I see Darnold as a great dart throw, and I see Wentz as limited because we've seen him with pretty good talent to bad talent last year, and he's just a head case. He makes a lot of mistakes, just like Darnold, but I just don't like the guy. I don't like his mentality. I love Darnold's mentality because he's always he's a take all comers kind of guy. And so I picked Darnold to outscore Wentz, and I threw it out there. And of course, Jay disagreed with me. And so he decided to say, hey, well, how about we wager a charity bet? Whoever scores the most fantasy points in 2021, the loser has to donate $50 to the winner's charity. And so my charity is the Alzheimer's Association. I work in the hearing care industry, so Alzheimer's and dementia are some of the leading risk factors for those ailments is hearing loss. And so I deal with people with Alzheimer's and dementia on a daily basis, and it means a lot to me to donate to a cause where those people are getting support. And Jay, who am I donating to in the very unlikely case that Carson Wentz outscores Sam Darnold this season?
Oh, I think we've lost.
He's choppy. I broke him.
So you're gonna have to say.
Oh, so if I lose the bet, I have to donate $50 to Carson Wentz's charity. I think it's A10 or something charity he founded, which is like under.
We still there? Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. He's back.
I froze up for a second. Yeah, Carson Wentz's AO1 Foundation. I figured if I'm going to go with Carson Wentz, I might as well, if he's the one that's going to win the bet, might as well donate to his charity. So it goes to show, Bo and I got in a very heated debate, and that's all it was. It was a debate. And you see a lot of people going at each other on Twitter, and it doesn't have to be negative. We were always respectful. Yeah, we talk junk, but Bo knows, we know that it's nothing personal. It's just, it's all in good fun. And I was thinking, I think Bo is dead wrong. I think he's way off here, but why not do some good with it? I don't care about winning money. I just want to be right. So, Bo said he doesn't like either one of these guys. I actually really like both of these guys. I think they both still have a lot of upside. With that being said, I would rather have the guy who has played at an MVP level before. And who was his coach when he was playing at the MVP level? Frank Reich, his current coach in Indianapolis. Everything you said about Carson Wentz last year was 100% right. He was awful. But, more and more comes out that there was, what's his name? What's the coach from last year? I'm drawing a blank. Doug Peterson. He didn't want Wentz. The offensive line was in shambles. The wide receiver core, other than Rager, was terrible. The Ertz and Goddard couldn't stay healthy. He had to play. Wentz got in his own head. He had to play hero ball, and he can't do that. In Indianapolis, with one of the best offensive lines in the league, he's not CMC, but Jonathan Taylor is a pretty dang on good running back. He's got solid weapons as well with Pittman, the ghost of T.Y. Hilton, whatever's left. Paris Campbell's coming back. So I just think that he's in a better position to put up better numbers. I think that there's a lot of upside with Darnold. I think there's a much lower floor with Darnold. I looked up some stats before we hopped on here. As bad as Carson Wentz was last year, he averaged 16.5 points per game. That is better than Darnold's best season as a pro, which was 2019, 14.6. So last year, Wentz was 16.5, Darnold was 11.2. 2019, Wentz was 17.2, Darnold was 14.6. 2018, Carson Wentz was 17.5, Darnold was 13. Now, granted, they're both different teams, different situations. There's both going to be an adjustment. I really like Darnold in Carolina, especially with Joe Brady. He's somebody that I'm trying to pick up in Dynasty, and I think he's a perfect quarterback 3 for Superflex leagues. But I've seen Wentz do it before. We have not seen Darnold do it consistently. So give me the guy who has played at an MVP caliber level.
Was Darnold the entire career with Adam Gase?
Yes.
It was, yes. So, he's going to get a bounce back right there because
that alone.
that alone
I
probably
was
gonna have
going to
like
say,
3 points.
we're talking if Ryan Tannehill was like completely raw. If Sam Darnold came into the league completely raw, which he did not, he was in a pro style system at USC. He was very turnover prone there too, but he was a polished product. Like that's why he was such a high draft pick. And Tannehill came into the league pretty raw. He'd only been playing quarterback a couple of years, and he got gaced for a couple of years in Miami, and he went straight to Tennessee, and he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in fantasy there is. I see the same kind of thing. Just getting away from Gase is an extra point or point and a half per game by itself.
Maybe
And
more.
then
Maybe more than that.
Yeah, and then the Joe Brady effect. And I really think that you're right about the whole floor versus ceiling thing. Darnold's floor is super low. It's probably the lowest in the league out of 32 starting quarterbacks. But Carson Wentz, I just don't see it in the fantasy realm. When he's on, he's really good at quarterbacking. But when it comes to fantasy, I think that I'm looking for upside. I'm drafting for upside. I'm shooting for the moon every time. If I'm drafting for floor, I'm drafting scared, and I don't win that way. So I'm gonna shoot for.
Yeah, I think Wentz has a higher ceiling than Darnold. So.
All right. Is there any way that we can get involved in this bet? How do we get involved in this bet? How do I get involved in this bet?
Actually, our guy Shane Barrett got involved. What he said if I lose, he's gonna match because his family has been affected by Alzheimer's, and so if I lose, he's gonna match my donation to the Alzheimer's Foundation. So, if you want to pick a side and just agree to match, if I win, if you think I'm gonna win, agree to donate to Carson Wentz's foundation. To Bo's foundation, the Alzheimer's Foundation, if I lose and vice versa. I think, if you just want to match what we're doing, I think it's a great way.
What is Carson Wentz Foundation? What is it? Who does it?
Let me pull it up. And I didn't even realize this before I agree. I said Carson Wentz's Foundation.
I had to Google it for him.
He did. But let me see. It's and obviously, if you follow me on Twitter, my faith is very important to me, and that is with Carson Wentz as well. It's uplifting individuals, communities around the world by demonstrating God's love for His people. So he apparently donates. It's for kids, and let me see. Let's see. It's basically doing stuff around the world, building churches, building, I think, housing and schools and stuff. Yeah. In the name of God.
It's an outreach program.
I didn't even.
Yeah.
Okay,
really good program.
Well, you have Sam Darnold, or you have Carson Wentz. You have Sam Darnold, and you have Jay. You have Carson Wentz. So I will match.
Yep.
But nothing against Wentz's foundation, but my mom, she passed away from complications of Alzheimer's, so my money's going to Alzheimer's. But saying that,
that's understandable.
I am going to match, but I am taking Wentz in Indiana over Darnold. I'm sorry. So
Gladys, I knew I like you.
I can do that, right? I can go on Jay's side, but
she agrees with you, but she likes my charity better. That's all.
Well, you know what? And that's there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
So yeah, I will match whoever. But I'm on Jay. I'm with Jay. I'm matching whatever the payout is.
Me and you, Gladys, same page always.
Yes, we are. All right, let's go to the superheroes. And anyone else who wants to match, who's listening, you are more than welcome to do so. Both charities are.
All right. All that matters is, that good's being done, and
exactly.
That go wrong.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that there's good. Yeah.
Well, who's your favorite superhero? Who is your superhero?
My superhero is I had to debate back and forth. It's got to be Spider-Man. I just relate too much to Spider-Man for it not to be.
Which Spider-Man? Which Spider-Man?
the original cartoon, the comic Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, it's like.
Why did you like the? Okay.
I grew up a nerd. I read books for fun.
You got something? Is there something wrong with Miles Morales? I like the Miles Morales angle of it.
I don't even know who that is.
Into the Spider-Verse.
I don't follow the saga. Like the last, like Tobey Maguire is the last Spider. I actually can look at it.
You're missing out.
Yeah, you need to when you get off, watch Into the Spider-Verse. It's awesome. It's a cartoon, and the voices are really great. And Nicolas Cage is like one of the Spider-Men. It's the most impressive. They're so great. But okay, who would Spider-Man pick in his fantasy draft? Who would be his first pick?
He would pick another wiry young lad with a lot of talent. That'd be Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper.
Wiry young lad.
Yeah.
Okay, and I thought Over the Moon was bad. Jay,
underestimated. He picked somebody underestimated, and Devontae Smith is underestimated.
I like that. There's a good reasoning. Jay, who is your superhero?
If you can't see right there, I've also got him right here as well. I've always been a huge Wolverine fan. He sits on my desk as well. Like I was saying earlier with my Nelly talk, I'm a 90s kid growing up Saturday morning cartoons, watching X-Men, the animated series on Fox Kids. And it was hard because Spider-Man is 1A to Wolverine. But I just remember, playing the X-Men arcade game. We had the 6 that you could choose, and I always chose Wolverine. There was there was a Wolverine Nintendo NES game that I remember playing, and he was always my guy. Like I had the little plastic glove that had there we go. LQ, that's my guy. He's with me. And Wolverine is an S tier. We had LQ was on with the guys at Front Yard Fantasy, and they said that he wasn't top tier, which LQ and I disagreed big time. But LQ got him on there for me, so he's with me. Wolverine's just always been, what kid wouldn't like a guy that has claws that come out of his hands and can heal, and just like didn't take crap from anybody. He always had the quippy one-liners. He's always been my favorite.
That's up there for me too. He's elite.
Yeah,
and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is elite.
I know.
Too.
He's elite. Yep. He is. It's Hugh Jackman. Who would Wolverine pick as his first pick in the fantasy draft?
He would probably pick Frank Gore because they are both immortal, and he would put no thought or time into it because he would care less about fantasy football. And I think they probably went to high school together. So Frank Gore would be Wolverine's pick.
That's excellent.
Oh my God, that's excellent. I never even occurred to me that would be a pick, but that is an excellent pick for Wolverine. Frank Gore. Yeah, I agree with Kyle. That is a perfect pick, Jay. All right. I appreciate both of you, and I appreciate you guys listening to my PSA at the beginning. And now it's your turn to rant about anything that you want to. It doesn't even have to involve football or stuff or food or dead animals. You can rant about Bo, I'll let you go first.
So, what really grinds my gears is when people get offended about stuff that doesn't apply to them. Like somebody, like the perfect example is if you see somebody who subtweets just general stuff, and then you see the wolf pack coming after him, and they're like he wasn't talking about anybody here, anybody. Like it's just like, oh, somebody cut me off in traffic, and they're like, well, maybe he was on his way to an important work appointment. You cannot win. There is no winning or losing on Twitter. So act accordingly. Act accordingly, people. We are all headed the same direction, and that's into the ground. So have fun, play the game, and be positive. Good vibes only. That's it. I'm out.
I like it. Jay, what's your rant?
Similar to Bo, but just a little bit of a different twist, and kind of goes back to the bet. People get so heated and, throw so much hate and venom and vitriol when you disagree on something as simple as fantasy football takes. Like, the whole point of this, the whole fun is having different opinions and different ideas. There's no need to, like, people, you guys have seen it, like, just go on rants and like just attack people for their fantasy football takes and say you're a terrible person and blah 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 blah. Like, we're, like Bo said, we're all in this together. A rising tide lifts all boats. I have just as much fun and enjoying lifting others up versus trying to promote myself and trying to, make my point. There have been so many relationships that I've built. Gladys, with what we've gone 2-3 years now that we've known each other. Bo,
Yes.
here within the past year, we've gotten closer. The list could go on and on and on. And none of that can happen if we're sitting and arguing over stupid stuff like fantasy football. It's a game about a game. So don't take it so seriously. We're all the fun of it is the different opinions. There's no need to attack each other. There's no need, there's room for everybody to succeed. And you don't have to take somebody else down in order to lift yourself up.
Ooh, I like that. And that should have been the closing statement. But it's not, because now you're going to tell people where they can find you. And you can tell them more impressive closing statements. But that was really good. I should have written that down. Damn it. Jay, where can we find you?
Just watch the replay. We'll then write it down, because I forgot what I said already. But so just recently, I started writing with Roto Underworld. I'm a writer over there. I've been with Gladys at GoingFor2 for the past few years, and just got on with Roto Underworld. Writer over there. I do also have a podcast with my guy Dan, who was in the chat earlier, Dan Turner. A podcast with Upside. We're on every other Thursday, this same channel, GoingFor2 Live Network. We have Sal Leto. It's the last of our divisions. We're doing the AFC West, and he is a Raiders fan, so we'll have Sal on with us. And then I'm also a part of the Front Yard Fantasy team. My official title is the Director of Stuff/Things. I'm kind of a behind-the-scenes guy. I help out with booking guests and just doing stuff to help promote the brand and move the brand forward. I had some time off, so I took off this week. I'm on the show all week, 3 p.m. Eastern, all week, and it's so much fun if you haven't seen it. It's fantasy. Think of the Tonight Show with fantasy football, playing games, different guests and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. It's Front Yard Fantasy, 3 p.m. Eastern every day, every weekday.
And I want to just give a quick shout out to Dan, your partner in crime, because he is an awesome person too.
He's a great guy.
He is a great guy, even though
Don't tell him I said that. But.
He tries to act like he's not, but
I really hate to agree with you, but I do.
It does, Eric, doesn't it? Like, it goes on for days. Jay does everything. I totally agree with you, Eric. I totally agree. All right, Bo, where can we find you? And your hot sauce.
Yeah, my resume is a lot shorter, but I think it's spicier. So
I see what you did there.
So yeah. So you can find me. I live on Twitter. I'm a Twitter creature at Bo_.
Don't we all?
Like you can see right here. That's my handle. Go ahead and give me a follow. It's going to range between my hot takes, which are hashtagged picantakes, and food porn. I'm known for taking graphic, filthy, just unfiltered pictures of the food I cook. A lot of it involves the products from my website, which is at bigtimeflavorcode.com, and that's the home of my now Twitter famous hot sauce, which is Hotbox Gourmet, and that's kind of my thing. I'm the foodie guy that just happens to be a veteran of fantasy football, and I write. I love writing, so I like to write. I write for nimblewnumbers.com, nimblewnumbers.com with Scott Simpson.
Scott's a great guy too.
He's my guy. You stay away from him, Jay. He's my guy, and I write for him. I write for the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. That's where our show is, WWSRN. We have our DFS show on Friday nights at 11 Eastern called Chalk Blocked. And so you check us out every Friday night. We talk DFS, we talk life, we talk food, we crack jokes at each other. expense. It's great. We have a lot of big names coming down the pipe, DFS minds to help win everybody money. And during the season, I'll also be writing for Fantasy Six Pack and the Hammercast Network.
And I want to thank you both extremely much for being on today. I enjoyed
having us.
Both of you. You guys are wonderful people, and the fact
you
that
are
you
as well, Gladys. Very much so.
Love you.
Very much, we love you.
And
I can't believe, as long as we've been with Going for2 and known each other. I think this is the first stream we've been on together, right? I think at the same time.
Yes, it is.
And you'll be on with us the draft day 2. You'll be on the show with us. You're coming on our draft special, I hope.
I hope so too.
Yep, the 30th. Dan and I will be on from 7 to 10. We got a bunch of different guests all throughout. Gladys is going to join us, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. I'm personally offended that I haven't been on the show yet.
Yet. Keyword yet.
Yeah,
I think
I
yours
can't
was
say
like
that anymore. Now I can't say it anymore.
You guys, thank everyone who joined us. Thank everyone who gave us comments. Kyle, especially Eric, both Erics. Eric with a C, Eric with a K, Gary, and Jeff, and Danny Ocean, and LQ. We appreciate all of you. I adore all of you in a weird sort of Twitter way, but thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next time. Thank you, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
Thank you.